Okay, today we're going to take a look at this first set of type tricks that you can do. Again, this works into designing t-shirts and things like this. I've got a help page over here, computer graphics, and I'll scroll this down. There are 4 things I want you to work on today. Here it is, type tricks number 1. If you go to the handout, this will kind of keep you on track a little bit. We're going to work on, zoom in a little bit, we're going to work on type on an open path, type on a closed path, type in an envelope, and keep scrolling down. Then we're also going to do extruded type. Now, to see kind of what those look like, I'm going to pull one up in Illustrator here, and here's an example of type on an open path up here, type on a closed path right here, type on in an envelope here, and then extruded type right here. Now, I'm going to demonstrate a lot of this, so I'm going to go ahead and close that. And all the instructions, everything I'm doing in this movie is kind of listed here on the handout, so you can pull this up to keep you on track or look at it if you need to. But let's just go straight over to Illustrator and go to work on this. I'm going to make a new artboard, so click File and New. Set your orientation the way you want. Click OK. And we're kind of ready to go. First thing we're going to work on is type on an open path. Now remember that type on an open path, open paths, that could be done with a paintbrush, it could be done with a pencil tool, it could be done with a pen tool, it could be done with a curvature tool, the spiral tool. The big thing about an open path is it has endpoints. It has a beginning and an end. So if you're going to do type on an open path, it kind of makes sense that the first thing you do is create an open path. Alright, well, I'm going to get rid of all that stuff that I just made, and I'm going to make my open path with the pen tool. You would not necessarily have to do it the same way as me, but I'm just going to create kind of a curvy line that looks like that. Alright, and I'm going to stroke it up a little bit, not that it's really going to matter, but I want to increase the stroke just a little. Now over here on the type tool, here's what you're going to do. You come to the type tool on the toolbar, click and hold. Alright, hold the mouse button down for a few seconds and you'll see other forms of the type tool, and we want type on a path tool. Be careful, we don't want area type, we want type on a path tool. And it's as simple as this. Take the tool, click on the path, and then start typing. This is going to say life is full of ups and downs, so buckle up, buttercup. Alright, now my type looks really small here, so I'm going to use this like a word processor. I'll just take this type on a path tool and drag right over it. I'll increase the point size over here. It's on the option bar right up here. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. I could change fonts if I want to. I could look through here and say, well, gosh, I think I want a different font. I could change colors if I wanted to. And then when I take, let me undo that. If I take the black arrow tool and deselect, you're going to notice that the path doesn't show up anymore. The path turns out to be invisible once you are done and you deselect. Now if I come back and select this, you can kind of see the path, and you can also, if you look carefully, you'll see little handles like at the beginning and at the end of the text that allow you to kind of move it along the path if you want to. So you can see why they call it type on a path. It's following that open path that I created. Alright, so that's kind of 1 down, 3 to go. Let's move on. The second one's really not going to be that big of a surprise, I don't think. It's type on a closed path. Remember that everything you need, there's instructions over here on the handout. I'm going to take the circle tool here, and you can do a different closed shape. Do whatever you want to try. But I'm just going to take the circle tool here, and it can be, the color really doesn't matter because it's going to wind up disappearing anyway eventually. So I'm just going to give it a color that I can kind of work with here. Alright, so I want to make some type go around that circle. Okay, well, again, it's going to be the type on a path tool. And I'm just going to click on a spot on the path, and I'll just type United States of America. Alright, so there we go, United States of America. And you'll notice it's not yellow anymore. and the stroke is kind of gone. And if I take my black arrow tool, and again, there's these little handles that you can kind of use to slide around. You may have to zoom in to see those handles a little bit, but you can kind of slide the text around a little bit and fit it on there. And sometimes it kind of jumps around, but you'll get used to it if you practice it a little bit. Now you can, of course, I can make that text a little bit bigger if I wanted to kind of fill up the circle a little bit more. So there's possibilities there. I'm going to pull that down a little bit and pull that around a little bit here and try to get it all cooperating. It's still not. There we go. And that looks a little bit better. Sometimes you have to just kind of play with those little handles that you see there, and you'll get it to work. It could be any color that I wanted. It doesn't matter what color you make it. See, that's just type on a closed path. All right, that was a closed circle, and I just put type around it. And now I would be able to take that and just kind of move that around, put it wherever I want. Okay? So try to do an example of type on a closed path. Great. All right, so let's move on to the third one here. I'll hop back over here to my handout. This is type in an envelope. We've done a similar thing with shapes before, but we haven't done it with type. All right, so I'm going to say, I'm just going to create, on this one you just create some regular type. Just get the type tool. And I'm going to say, play like a champion. All right, that's going to be the phrase that I use here. Play like a champion. And of course, that could be any color that you want it to be. And you could stroke it if you want to. You do whatever you like as far as that goes. All right, whatever size you want. Change the font if you want to. You do whatever you like. Okay? Now I've got some just regular type, horizontal type. I'm going to go up to the Object menu. I'm going to go to Envelope Distort, and we're just going to do Make with Warp. There are other things that you can kind of play with here. I'm just going to concentrate on this one today. Object, Envelope Distort, Make with Warp. Pow. I've got Preview turned on, so it's showing me what it's going to do. And there are different styles up here. And you can, again, especially on this assignment, I'm not going to care. I'm not going to care what style you use. There I did fish. All right, I could do shell, I could do rise, and you can play with the amount of bend and the horizontal and vertical distortion and kind of do that to your heart's content. I think I'm going to go with like arch and maybe bend it a little bit more. Nah, I don't like that quite so much. I'll go with arc. I like that better. And just get a little bit more bend and play around with it however you want. Okay, when you're happy and you know it, click OK. Bingo. So I've got this text that I warped. I was able to curve it. All right, great. All right, 3 down, 1 to go. Now on this last one, you got to be a little bit careful. Don't go hog wild on all the options, because Illustrator will crash if you get too crazy with it. Just make some regular type. All right, just get the type tool and make some regular type. I'm going to use kind of my go-to here. I usually, a lot of times when I'm just teaching something, I'm just going to use the name of my lab here, Area 140. All right. And right now I have this impact font. You can try whatever font you want. Now here's the one thing. When you're doing extruded text, it's a good idea for it to have a fill and a stroke, but not the same color. Don't do both black, both red, both yellow. You know, it's a better thing to like fill it with one color and stroke it with a different color. In fact, I think I'm even going to switch that. I don't know. I'm going to fill it with blue and stroke it with red. I think that's what I'll do. But you don't want the same colors. You're not going to get a good result, I don't think, if you stroke it with the same color. Okay. All right. So let's see what this does now. Here's where you access this thing. It's on the Effect menu. And by the way, remember that it's on the handout here. I'm doing extruded type on the handout. Okay. All right. So I've got my text. Great. I'm going to bump the stroke down just a little bit. Got my text, and I'm going to go to the Effect menu, go to 3D, and it's right here. Extrude and bevel. Move this over a little bit. Click Preview, and you see what it's doing. It's making that look very three-dimensional, like it's thick, It's got thickness to it, and see how it's using the stroke color for the thickness of the three-dimensional surface here. I had a red stroke on there, so the part of the letter that's sticking back away from the face of the letter is red. All right, it's going to kind of use your stroke color. Now you can, on this dialog box, you can use this cube right here. You can grab this cube and kind of rotate it around, and whatever you do to the cube, it does to the text. Now, if you're a numbers person, you could also do the same kind of things here with these little dials here. You could rotate it on the X, Y, and Z axis using these dials, or plugging in numbers here. So you can kind of play with that, by using the cube, or by using these settings right up here as well. Now, here's one. You can increase the extrude depth a little bit, but I really encourage you, don't go hog wild on this, because that's the kind of thing that makes Illustrator crash. People will come along here and say, I'm going to put like 5,000 in here, and then Illustrator crashes. So I wouldn't bump it up a ton. Maybe I'll put 70 there, and if I hit tab, you'll see that it's a little bit thicker. I'm going to dial that so you can see it's a little bit thicker than it was, not a lot. All right, so again, I say when you've tried this out, when you're happy and you know it, click OK right here. And that's called extruded text. It looks very three-dimensional. It's got a lot of thickness to it. All right, so this is it for today. This is what we've got. We've got type on an open path, type on a closed path, type with an envelope, and extruded text. Now these are all things that you might, you could use these when you're designing a t-shirt. Any of these could come in handy when you're doing something on a t-shirt. All right, so when you get this done, you're going to save it as file and save as, and get to your network drive, and just call it like type number 1 or something like that. Type 1 would be fine. All right, give it a name that you can remember, and remember, if you're saving, click OK on that last box that pops up, and turn it in on Schoology. I got it all set on Schoology for you right here. It's type tricks number 1. I'm out of here. I'm bailing. You're sailing. Let's go get it.